So we've talked a lot about COVID and the past, but maybe we could talk a bit about the future, what will happen after the pandemic. So maybe I'll ask Reham, what are your steps going forward after the pandemic or just in the near future?
Um, so during the pandemic, I had like lots of time to look through like university courses and the subjects I like. So I found that like I really like to do coding because before the pandemic, I didn't do any coding or anything like that. So I looked into it. So I was looking like in the what university courses and what courses I could do because I think next year I'm going to sixth form, so I have to figure out what course I want to do. So I wanted to do like computer science at university. So the pandemic actually kind of helped for me in that way.
So it kind of gave you time to find things that you're interested in and learn, things that might be something that you might want to look into for the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And what about Elliot? What have you found to be something you would like to do going forward?
I actually found the exact same with the pandemic helping me choose kind of what I wanted to do in university, because 2 years ago I wanted to do veterinary science and then I wanted to do astrophysics, and I just wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. But then when the pandemic hit, I kind of saw, the negative effects on everyone's mental health, and it kind of got me thinking that this is something that I would really like to help with in the future. I worked with an organization that was really focused on young people's mental health. And after that, it was kind of it sparked this, I really wanted to just help people with that. So it's something I'm really interested in now, doing psychology when I go to university. And I don't think I would have had that interest if it hadn't been for the pandemic. Yes, there was a lot of negatives, but I think that was the one positive that I got out of it. With social media, you see a lot about your mental health, but I don't think that any of it's quite enough. There's, tips on how to cope and strategies and stuff, but I just don't think it ever really hits home until you're in a place like you might have been during the pandemic, or you see some of your friends in, a dark place. So I think it's definitely something that young people should really look into properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And maybe Akani, what are your next steps going out of a pandemic?
With me being creative, I feel like lockdown has brought so much creativity into my head, because when I don't do anything, or when I'm not active, I become some creative machine. I end up creating things that are oh, okay, so now we've created this, and then I sketch and I think, and I watch a lot of shows. I started watching a lot of shows about architecture and interior design. And I've also been looking into universities that have those courses, or colleges that are about architecture. And it just really excites me, because there's nothing better than creativity and design. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like the pandemic was, maybe as one small positive, it seemed like kind of a place where, you could at least you have maybe some spare time to find things that you're really interested in, and maybe discover passions that you didn't know you had. Yeah. And like you said, I think Akani, you mentioned that you might look into going to university for some of these things. Have you made any concrete plans for this yet, or is it just more an idea at this point?
It's not concrete yet, but I'm still looking into these places in South Africa and out of South Africa. And yeah, so I'm still onto it. It's not an official thing yet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And maybe I'll ask Malin, kind of building off of the conversation about universities. Do you think that universities going forward will still be relevant? Do you think it's something that is perhaps, do you think all young people should go to university? What are your thoughts on it?
I wouldn't say all young people, because for some young people, it just isn't a thing. You notice it, they'll probably won't get that far if they go to university than if they want. But I think it is important for a lot of us, because you can study and just get a better job later. But I feel like, yeah, like I said, for some people it just isn't it.
Mhm. And how about you, Blessing? What are your next steps? Are you also interested in university?
Uh, Actually, I don't think I'm gonna be going to university because I feel like personally I feel like university is overrated because like everybody goes to university. Because right now during lockdown I was it gave me time to like really think on what I want to do and the things I wouldn't have done. And personally, I'm a very adventurous person and I like to explore. So out of the lockdown, I think I'm gonna be because I think I'm gonna because I'm acting be auditioning for like scenes in different movies. So I feel like going to university is gonna be wasting time when I could like go to an agency where they teach me what I need to do and how I can become an actor the proper way. And I don't think university can do that for me. So personally, I don't think university is an option.
You would rather do something that's more kind of, specifically in your interests and specifically geared towards, building up your path to a career.
Yeah, I feel like it's better than going to university for like 4 or 5 years. And then only after that, I still realized that it didn't work for me. And then now I've wasted money, time, and resources. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Elliot mentioned earlier how plans changed. You originally wanted to do, I believe it was veterinary studies, but then you ended up looking into psychology. I wonder if anyone else's educational plans have changed. Maybe Gemma, we haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, actually, I was going to go to university either way, but like I said, I studied mostly science in high school, and I thought I was going to do science as a bachelor's degree also. Mostly honestly because I wasn't really sure, and I'm still not sure what I want to like actually have as a job and stuff like that. And I felt like with science, it would like give me more time, but I would still have opportunities later. That plan did change during Corona. And I still think it's a positive thing. But there was like they introduced some new courses for IB, at least where I am, and the math that I took is not high enough to apply for the science university courses or programs that I wanted to do. And then they decided that that should apply for my year also, even though we chose our classes before we knew what the conversion was. So then I found out that I couldn't do science, and that I didn't really know what else I would be able to do or I wanted to do because I haven't really done like social sciences and stuff like that for quite a few years now. But yeah, then I found the program I'm going to do, development studies, and I thought that it seemed pretty interesting. And there's no use in thinking about what I can't do, because I already decided that I don't want to take a year off just to study math to get into science. And I decided that's not what I wanted to do, and I'd rather just get into something else, which I did. So I think it worked out in the end.